We're going to start off today's show, though, talking about something I haven't had a chance, or Hunt hasn't had the chance either, to react to, and that is Marcel Brooks putting his name in the transfer portal. Very talented football player, 5-star recruit out of the state of Texas. Last year, played a rush in their cheetah package, had a sack and a half. Of course, the big sack came against Florida. We all remember his celebration after that sack. It's a guy that is extremely talented, Hunt. There is no denying that. When you watch his highlight tape from the state of Texas, he was playing receiver, he's playing safety. But here at LSU, a little bit positionless. You're trying to figure out, okay, what is his best position on the field? You put him at rush in because he was so athletic. This year moves to will linebacker. It didn't look like he was going to be the starter. Micah Baskerville looks like he's going to be the starter in that position. You weren't quite comfortable enough to move him to safety. So a very, very talented player. And it's going to be a loss. Anytime you use a 5-star guy who plays a true freshman, that's not something that you want. Do you think he's leaving to maybe get closer to home, maybe to find somewhere where he does have a little bit better of a fit?
All I can take him at is his word. And his word is, I need to be closer to my mom, need to be closer to home in Texas. I mean, that's what he said. So yeah. I don't have any reason to start poking holes in that. I mean, when you immediately hear the news that he's transferring, the normal thoughts go through your head. Okay, he's not happy with the coaching staff. There's a new coach, and then he doesn't understand the system, doesn't fit in the system. You look at he's going to get beat out. You look at grades. You look at any number of things. But he said it's because I want to be closer to home and be my mom. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's wrong. It's disappointing because that's, like you said, he's just so talented. That I don't say this lightly. That highlight tape is just about as good as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Maybe as impressive as I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, Leonard Fournette looked pretty good running in high school football. But when you look at Brooks playing defensive end, safety, wide receiver, running back, I mean, he was all over the field just making unbelievable plays his entire high school career. And you saw some flashes of that as a freshman. And I think that they would have found a way to get him involved. That's what the coaching staff is there to do. But would it have been traditional? Probably not.
Yeah, and we've heard Coach O talk about he's gained weight. Bo Pelini came on this show and he talked about that as well a couple of weeks ago. And so they were trying to mold him into being a weak side linebacker. And LSU's done a fantastic job in the past of taking a guy who didn't really have a position. And I'm looking right at Jacoby Stevens. And they toyed enough until they found something where he thrives at. Now this is a guy that's a potential All-American candidate. I mean, I think he's an All-SEC, no doubt. He's a potential All-American candidate, and Jacoby Stevens found his role. I think eventually they would have found that. Now, not everybody is going to stay long enough to find that out. And, you know, if he's moving closer to home, that's obviously one part of it, but also you want to find a fit that fits you the best. I mean, Jacoby Stevens played receiver. I mean, he played linebacker. He was a rush in. I mean, he's kind of played everything, and now he's found his spot at a safety position. And they've had multiple guys do that over time, but this day and age of college football, Hunt, it's hard to convince a young man, hey, give me a year. Give me 2 years. 2 years in this day and age in college football is like speaking a foreign language to these recruits.
Maybe they just told him he couldn't wear 9 anymore and he left. Do we think it's been worn for the last time now?
Let me tell you, I don't, typically I don't give out like inside information when I'm over at the facility that's just not my cup of tea. I can promise you I heard no less than 25 times nobody's ever wearing number 9 again, okay, especially on the field this year, by people that got some stroke over there. All so right. He was going to have to find a new jersey number regardless.
I thought that was probably going to be the case as well. But now I think we can realize that that one's done. Go ahead and put that one up, frame it. That's it.
So when you look at the linebacker room there at LSU, obviously Damone Clark's going to be your Mike linebacker. You got Jabril Cox, who's a transfer coming over from North Dakota State. He's going to have a role in this team. Otherwise, you don't have someone who probably gets drafted in the later rounds of the NFL draft, decide to come to your school, transfer from a place where he's only won national titles. Micah Baskerville, to me, is a guy that has deserved playing time. I think this is his time. Let's all remember when LSU was on the road against Florida and Jacob Phillips missed that game 2 years ago, Micah Baskerville was the guy that stepped in. He was the next guy up at that time, above Patrick Queen, who was just a first-round pick. Now, a little bit different positions, but still Baskerville was the first choice to go in and replace Jacob Phillips. And he was a freshman. There was times he looked lost. There's no question about that. But now this kind of shows that this is his position to win, be that will linebacker that Bo Pelini is going to throw out there with his 4-3 defense.
I think that would be the first name that I would point to. I'm in intrigued by Devonta Lee just because he's so athletic and in the size. Do I anticipate a position change to come in and start immediately? That's probably asking a little bit too much. Baskerville's been in the program a couple of years. He's played that position his whole life, really. And so I think that's probably the most likely candidate. But the fact of the matter, they're a little bit thin in terms of proven depth at linebacker. I mean, they've got some young guys they like.
I think you're exactly right. You have 3 that you feel extremely strong about in your starters, but behind that, you're going to have a young football player. And I know Jabril Cox didn't play at this level, but when you play at the school that he just came from and you're as dominant as they are, and when they play against the big boys, they usually compete and win those games. I feel okay with him transitioning into being a FCS SEC football player.
I do too. I don't have any problem with Cox. I mean, it's not a size issue. He's 6'4", he's 235 pounds. So that's not an issue. And you see when you turn on his tape, he's got a couple pick sixes. Yeah. He's jumping out routes. I mean, he's athletic and big and physical, and he's an older player. He should be able to pick things up pretty quickly. I don't have any doubt about him. The question is, how ready is Josh White to play? The question is, how ready is Antoine Sampa ready to play? I mean, where does Philip Webb fit? I mean, there are young guys that you just don't know much about.
They love Philip Webb over at the facility. That's one of those maybe not talked about on 247 or Rivals or ESPN recruiting rankings, but that's someone that before he even signed, you would hear his name around the facility. So they're very excited about him. And I do apologize. I don't really know what conference North Dakota State plays in, so I went FCS to SEC and not whatever conference they play into the SEC.
I don't know any FCS conferences outside of
as I was saying it, I'm like, get there, try to find a way. Sorry about that, Bison.
No way.
I think Bisons.
Bison. I don't think
is that what it is?
I don't think that's one you. And I think actually because they've been Game Day's had them a couple of times. You actually supposed to say it like a Z, Bison.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not going to play here in South Louisiana. I bet nobody says bison.
I try whenever people say that's how they say it to say it that way. Like I said Louisville forever. Louisville.
You just got to say it, Louisville.
And then like I said, oh my gosh, I said Nevada when we were up in Seattle for the Washington game in 2009. It's Nevada.
No, it's Nevada here.
I said Nevada, and this guy looked at me like I had 3 heads.
I think you just say it like you're supposed to say it in the South, and that's right.
Whatever you want to do. It's your show.
You've been known to tell me I say things wrong, so I'm just trying to.
I think I did that one day.
Education,
and it was fun. We had a great day that day.
It's one time too many.
It was awesome.